Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone. Let me introduce myself. I am Nadila Salsabila. I'm from Bekasi. I'm currently undergoing lectures in semester 4, majoring in visual communication design at the Semarang State University. Now I want to present about one of the artwork that I'm most interested in. Okay, here we go. This is The Shot Marylins by Andy Warhol, the king of pop art. First, definition of art. Art is a highly diverse range of human activities engaged in creating visual, auditory, or performed artifacts, artworks that express the author's imaginative or technical skill and are intended to be appreciated for their beauty or emotional power. The oldest documented forms of art are visual art, which include image or objects in fields like painting, sculpture, printmaking, photography, and other visual media. Architecture is often included as one of the visual arts. However, like the decorative arts, it involves the creation of objects where where the where the practical consideration of use are essential, in a way that they usually are not in another visual art, like a painting. Art may be characterized in terms of mimesis, or its representations of reality, expressions, communications of emotions, or other qualities. Took the definition of what constitutes art is disputed and has changed over time. General descriptions center on the idea of imaginative or technical skill stemming from human agency and creation when it comes to visually identifying a work of art. There is no single set of values or aesthetic traits. A Baroque painting will not necessarily share much with a contemporary performance piece, but they are both considered art. Despite the seemingly indefinable nature of art, there have always existed certain formal guidelines for its aesthetic judgmental and analysis. Formalism is a concept in art theory in which an artwork's artistic value is determined solely by its form, or how it is made. Formalism evaluates works on a purely visual level, considering medium and compositional elements as opposed to any reference to realism, context, or content. Art is often examined through the interactions of the principle and elements of art. The principles of art include movement, unity, harmony, variety, balance, contrast, proportions, and pattern. The elements include texture, form, space, shape, color, value, and light. The various interactions between the elements and principles of art helps artists to organize sensorily pleasing works of art while also giving viewers a framework within which to analyze and discuss aesthetic ideas. And the second is terminology. The word art from Riau, Malay, Sungai Rokan is sonic, which comes from the word so or si, se, which means one, comes from the Sanskrit swa or one, which is combined with the word nik, which means something that very small or fine. The word art from Sanskrit is sani, which means sincere, offering, service, and giving. The word art comes from the Dutch language is genie, which means extraordinary abilities that are born from birth, like the meaning of the three art words in the KBBI, which means genius. However, the word art is suspected to be a neologism that uses the word art in a small sense, which already exists in the general Malay language. The theories above are probably just fiction or new assumption. And three is equipments. In this work or in this artwork, Andy Warhol used a filter printing process or screening printing silk screen. Andy Warhol depicts Marilyn Monroe with portraits in a row of the same 6 poses using color-different negatives. And the fourth image, this is pictures, the shot Marilyn's. The shot Marilyn's is a work of art produced in 1964 by Andy Warhol. It consists of 4 canvases, each a square measuring 40 inches, and each consisting of a painting of Marilyn Monroe. Each shot struck in the forehead by a single bullet. Warhol actually painted 5 colored Marilyns in 1964 with different colored backgrounds: red, orange, light blue, sage blue, and turquoise. He stored them at the factory, his studio on East 47th Street in Manhattan. Dorothy Butler, a friend of factory photographer Billy Nim, saw the recently completed paintings stacked against one another at the studio and asked Warhol if she could shoot them, believing that she meant she wanted to photograph the paintings. Warhol agreed, but Barr doffed her pair of black gloves, withdrew a small revolver from her purse, and fired a shot into the stack of 4 Marilyn paintings, which became known as the shot Marilyns. The fifth painting with the turquoise background was not in the stack. Next, 5 is art category. Art or works created by Andy Warhol are pop art and modern art category. Pop art is an art movement that emerged in the 1950s and flourished in 1960s in America and Britain, drawing inspiration from sources in popular and commercial culture. Different cultures and countries contributed to the movement during the 1960s and 70s. Roy Lichtenstein. Modern art includes artistic work produced during the period extending roughly from the 1860s to the 1970s and denotes the styles and philosophies of the art produced during that era. The term is usually associated with art in which the traditions of the past have been thrown aside in a spirit of experimentation. 6. Name of World, National, and World Organization. The name is Warhol Foundation. Warhol's will dictate that his entire estate, with the exceptions of a few modest legacies to family members, would go to create a foundation dedicated to the advancement of the visual arts. Warhol had so many possessions that it took Sotheby's 9 days to auction his estate after his death. The auctions grossed more than $20 million. 7 is basic technique. Warhol was an early adopter of the silk screen printmaking process as a technique for making paintings. In 1962, Warhol was taught silkscreen printmaking technique by Max Arthur Cohn at his graphic arts designs in Manhattan. In his book Pubbism, The Warhol 60s, Warhol writes, "When you do something exactly wrong, you always turn up something." Next, history. In May 1962, Warhol was featured in an article in Time magazine with his painting Big Campbell's Soup Can with can opener vegetables. And then in November 1962, Warhol had an exhibition at Eleanor Ward Stable Gallery in New York. The exhibit included the works Gold Marilyn, 8 of the classic Marilyn series, also named Clever Marilyns, Marilyn Diptyque, 100 soap cans, 100 Coke bottles, and $100 bills. It was during the 1960s that Warhol began to make paintings of iconic American objects such as dollar bills, mushrooms, clouds, electric gears, Campbell's soap cans, Coca-Cola bottles, celebrities Tyler, as well as celebrities such as Marilyn Monroe, Elvis Presley, Marlon Brando, Troy Donahue, Muhammad Ali, and Elizabeth Taylor, as well as newspaper headlines or photographs of police dogs attacking African American protesters during the Birmingham campaign in the civil rights movement. During these years, he founded his studio as the Factory, and gathered about him a wide range of artists, writers, musicians, and underground celebrities. His work became a popular controversial. Okay, this is the end of my presentation. I hope you can take a good lesson from what I deliver. You can contact me at andilasal@gmail.com. I ask forgiveness for any words and behave which are not supposed to be. Thank you for your kind attention. Thank you for watching. Have a good day. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.